And let's go ahead and just give me one big clap.
We set live at 5. Welcome. I'm Luke Krubeck. I'll be your host for this first and maiden voyage, my debut on this podcast. This podcast is going to be called the PR Podcast, aka the Progressive Resistance Podcast. What's this podcast going to be about? What's it going to entail? That's probably going to develop as we go. But the baseline goes into the name. PR, Progressive Resistance. We also know PRs to be personal records, right? Especially in the gym space. That's what we're shooting for, to be our best, to have our personal bests, have our personal records being set on the regular, right? Progressive resistance is what gets us there. We're going to talk about all sorts of things. We're going to talk about fitness principles. We're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about life a lot. We're going to talk about wins. We're going to talk about losses. We're going to discuss non-negotiables, the things that it takes to be our best selves. In the gym, out of the gym, it's going to be a wide range. Some of these podcasts will be with me personally speaking to you as I am now, with this beautiful beard and this ugly face. And other times we're going to have some guests, and we will apply kind of a theme for each podcast. But of course, as many of you know, with podcasts, there's wonderful little rabbit holes that we can go down and chase other ideas and have great discussions. Ultimately, I'm doing this because I want to help people. I want to help myself. There's a correlation between talking about some of these ideas that I think as we present things, or as I present things that might be helpful to you, might help you in your life, talking about these ideas over and over again also help me. It keeps them relevant. And again, it keeps us working towards progress. Progress is everything. Without it, we're dead in the water. We're not moving. And I don't want that. If I've learned anything in my 35 trips around the sun thus far, is that life is short. Life is tragic and life is beautiful all at once. It's important to me that I'm doing the things with my life today, right now, leaning into those things that help me be who I want to be, that I'm doing that right now, and that I'm not waiting. And I want this podcast to be part of that. And I want to connect those ideas to other people. Nothing is promised in this life, and tomorrow is certainly not promised. So I want to make sure that we're capitalizing on the opportunities that we have. We're using our free agency to, again, build the life that we want. It's your life. You're the director. Your life's a movie. What do you want it to look like? If you don't like it, or you haven't liked the last few scenes, change it. It's your life to change, or it's your life not to change. That's the beauty of free agency. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's coming to save you. It's up to you. And those are some of the things that I want to talk about. I'm passionate about fitness. We're going to talk about that a lot. I find that there's two things in life that leak positivity into every other avenue of your life. Only two things that do it the way they do. One, your relationship with God. And two, fitness and strength training, man. Strength training is a metaphor for life. And I think if we can get in there, honestly, we can do hard shit day in and day out, week in and week out. That's what makes us better. But again, I want to talk about a lot of these principles and I want to build on them. I want to add some philosophy. I want to consider ideas, new ideas, and mull over the stuff that we know to be true. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about are going to be very cliche. And you're going to hear a lot of Luke Krubeck theories in these podcasts. One of my theories on things being cliche. Why is something cliche? I think it's because, one, it's true. And two, ain't nobody doing it. So we're going to talk about a lot of those cliche things, live life like you're dying, all these other things. They're true, and not enough of us are living those principles to its fullest. So I want to talk a lot about that stuff. I want to grow. I want you guys to grow, and I just want to touch people with some of that. So I hope that these podcasts are something that you guys enjoy. I hope there's something that you take value from, and I hope they end up being something that you look forward to. As we go, this will probably take its own shape and mold itself as far as what we do with the frequency of podcasts, topics, etc. But I'm excited about the open platform that we have for this, and just the amount of abundance that's out there to tap into, and just the opportunity. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for life, and I want to share that with you guys. And I want to win, but more importantly, I want to watch other people win. So that's what this podcast is about. The PR podcast, progressive resistance. Progressive resistance is what helps us change. And going back to the gym and it being a metaphor for life, you go into the gym and you're constantly working against loads, working against the resistance that wants to not move. And then with time, you progress that resistance, right? That's what it takes in life, progressive resistance. Doing the stuff that's uncomfortable, making the changes that need to be made, having the discipline to do so. Progressive resistance is what's going to create progress for us, and that's everything. Like I said, not everything's promised, right? We don't know if we get tomorrow. So we got to make the most of the journey. The journey's the destination ultimately. We need to have goals. We need to have things that we're shooting for, things that we want to change, things that we want to create. And a lot of that takes time, and that's fine. But you got to lean into today and lean into the things today that get you pointed in that direction. If tomorrow's not promised, if I don't get tomorrow, then I wanted to spend today leaning really hard into being the person that I want to be and that I need to be for myself, for my family, and to set myself up in the space that I need to be in to eventually, hopefully, reach those goals. But I had this thought the other day was, if you reach your goals tomorrow or next week, let's say you reach that big goal you have, or goals, plural. If you reach it tomorrow and you stand in the mirror and you look at that person in the mirror looking back at you, do you like that person? Because if you don't, then what does reaching those goals matter? We've got to become who we want to be, who we need to be. And that prefaces the success that we might achieve. We'll talk about success and some more too, but one of my favorite definitions of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So again, it's progressive. Success is relative to each individual. Maybe it's monetary, maybe it's not. But I think success is doing with your life what you are choosing and what you want to be doing. And that comes from progressive resistance. And when we lean into that and we have the discipline and we do hard things, that's when we set PRs. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about life. Let's win. See you soon.